A long time ago, something very interesting happened. Pay attention to what happened a long time ago because it will happen right here and now. A group of men and women mounted on their horses were climbing a steep mountain on a dark night. From the sky, a voice came. Get off your horses, pick up stones and fill your bags, then get back on and continue the journey. Tomorrow morning you will be happy and sad at the same time. Some dismounted from their horses, others did not. Some took many stones, others few. They put them in their bags, remounted and continued their journey. When day broke, as the voice had said, they were happy and sad at the same time. Happy because, in the light of day, when they looked inside their bags, they saw that they were not stones, but diamonds. And sad because they didn't take more. I hope that by the end of this video you feel happy and sad. I'm here today to show you the real diamond path, hoping you'll be happy to have picked up some diamonds and sad you didn't pick up more. So let's make a deal. Let's make these video minutes the best they can be. So disconnect from everything and connect exclusively to this video. And to show your interest, type like this: I'm going to get a lot of diamonds. Just comment, I'm going to get a lot of diamonds. When I see this comment, I will give a heart because I know that you are someone who really focuses on what you do, and that's why you'll get rich. Now that you've commented, let's continue. I want to start our study with a very important sentence. Please write it down if possible. Never let what you can't do interfere with what you can do. The main reason for this video is to renew your hope. This is crucial because we begin to lose our lives when our memories become stronger than our aspirations. When someone starts talking about the past, saying, I did, I was, it's a sign that that person is saying goodbye to life. Therefore, by renewing your hope, you realize that you can set new goals and dreams. Now I have a challenge for you watching. I would like you to think about the 3 most important things that have happened in your life so far, from the day you were born until today. 3 significant and good moments. If you had to choose 3 moments to represent your life on this planet Earth, as the French Jesuit theologian Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are here on earth to experience the human experience. We have good and bad times. It is no wonder that we are born crying because we know the challenges we will face in life. This planet is not a paradise. If anyone expects to be happy 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, they're in the wrong place. Here we have moments of happiness and moments that are not so happy. It's part of the journey. It's like a roller coaster. In difficult times, we know they won't last forever. They will get better. And in good times, we also know that they will not be eternal. They will get worse. This roller coaster concept can be helpful. So, back to the challenge. Think of 3 special moments in your life, meaningful ones, from birth to today. Choose one of the 3 moments. I'll assume you already have those 3 moments in mind. I know one thing. At least 2 of those significant moments weren't planned. Maybe the day you had children, built a family, or the day you met your husband or wife. You didn't wake up one day thinking, today I'm going to find someone I'm going to fall in love with and marry. It is not on a day that you did not plan. You met someone somewhere, talked to that person, made friends, and later fell in love and got married. When you look at your life, you realize that magical moments weren't planned. You were doing something ordinary and suddenly something extraordinary happened. These are the moments we call miracles, although we don't always recognize them as such. For example, I have a store where my sister-in-law, who is a decorator, made a sophisticated decoration, but I sell popular products. If someone who likes the sophisticated showcase comes in, they may not find what they are looking for. And those who would be interested in my products may be intimidated to enter. In this case, the sophisticated decor may be hurting my business. In dialogue and communication, we must modify that saying that many attribute to the Bible, which says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This works very well when it comes to something spiritual, but when it comes to communication, the phrase is more appropriate like this: do unto others as they would like done unto them. For example, if I invited you to dinner at my house, I wouldn't serve my favorite dish without first asking what you like. In dialogue, it's important to start by understanding what the other person wants to hear, not just conveying what we want. Do unto others as they would have it done unto them. Let me tell you a story that exemplifies this. I met a businessman in Sao Paulo who told me about his twin brother. When he was 14, he had a falling out with his family, and went to Sao Paulo, where he became a successful businessman. 25 years later, he decided to bring his brother to meet him. He organized a party at a pizzeria because he loved pizza. However, his brother started to feel sick when he entered the pizzeria because he hated pizza. He tried to please his brother in the way he thought was logical, but forgot to consider his brother's preferences. This shows how it happens between us. It always happens like this. I want to show you what I think, but I don't care what you think. It is not true. Think about it. Nature gave us ears on the same level. So what goes in one ear goes out the other. So dialogue becomes a monologue because there is no answer. To have a dialogue, first, I need to have a strong message. You will only continue listening to me if you like what I say. I need to have something interesting to convey to you. Second, we need to speak figuratively. As Jesus taught, he told stories. How am I going to teach something to someone who has never left where they are? As Jesus taught about spiritual things to those on earth, he used metaphors, told parables. When he told a story, you couldn't disagree with it, because he was conveying an idea through the story. Pay attention to this important story. Once upon a time, there was an important ship full of gold, and suddenly the engine stopped. The ship's owner called the best mechanic in the area. He worked all day but couldn't fix it. So they called the best engineer in the country. He worked for 2 days but still couldn't fix it. Finally, they brought in whoever built the ship's engine, even though it was far away. He flew to the ship by helicopter, listened to the noises, touched the pipes and found a valve with a piece of red thread. He asked if he had a hammer and they said yes. So he hit it with a hammer and the engine started working perfectly again. The 3 workers who worked to repair the ship sent their invoices. The first, who worked for 1 day, charged $100. The second, who worked for 2 days, charged $200 a day. He was more experienced than the first. And the third worker, who fixed the engine with a single blow, sent an invoice for $10,000. The ship's owner agreed to pay, but with one condition. He wanted to know how the third worker justified charging so much. So the third worker explained, hammering a bolt costs $1, and knowing which bolt to hit costs $999.99. It is not for the hammer blow, but for the knowledge. Now imagine that we are having lunch and I tell you this story. If you understand the gist, you'll see how it applies later in your office. You are thinking of hiring me as a consultant and asking what my fee would be. If I give a high price and you say it's expensive, you will realize that I am charging for the experience, not just for the service. I prepared your mind to understand my point of view through the story, using a metaphor. Those who know how to dialogue make use of metaphors. Politicians who win elections are good storytellers, as are priests who preach sermons that everyone enjoys. When you tell a story, the critical mind calms down. You convey the story along with the message you want to convey, and that message fits into the listener's mind. Another important point is perception. What you are trying to convey may not be exactly what the other person is understanding. If you consider yourself a good salesperson, then your sales should reflect that. If you're not selling well, but your sales approach may be wrong. Maybe your language isn't appropriate, your message isn't strong enough, or maybe you're not using the power of metaphors and stories. Recently, a client came here and I said to him, you may be talking to the current client, but you're actually talking about what you did with last week's client, while the current client is listening. This is a metaphorical strategy that invites the client to engage with your ideas, like a father who dialogues with his son. At the end of the dialogue, the son feels encouraged to try what the father is suggesting. It's an invitation that life offers you now. I need you to understand one more thing. If you understand this, you will be very successful in life. So pay close attention. We are judged by 3 things: our appearance, by what we say, and how we say it, and what we say. In the part of how we say what we say, the model I am discussing with you comes in here. There is a level where nothing happens, where you are just wasting time, where communication is superficial. For example, when we order sparkling water and receive still water because the order was not understood correctly. Many people are stuck in life because they cannot communicate effectively. Communication is essential nowadays. If you remove communication from the world collapses, because information only has value when it is shared between minds. And this happens through dialogue. I mentioned that life is like a cake with several ingredients. We started by talking about self-esteem and communication. Now, let's address the other aspects a little. An important message for you, young man, watching us, and for young people of all ages. Youth is a choice. I may be 65 years old, but I keep an energy like I'm 18 years old. I am always looking ahead, thinking about what I can still achieve in life. When I keep that focus, my body doesn't age, it stays full of energy. Not setting goals is a mistake. Do you know the concept of an hourglass? It has sand that has not yet fallen, the future, sand that is falling, the present, and sand that has already fallen, the past. The sand that hasn't fallen yet is the future, the one that's falling is the present, and the one that's already fallen is the past. Let's focus a little on the present. Do you know why it's called a gift? Because it is a gift from God. No matter where you are, it's always here and now. Have you noticed that life is an eternal here and now? It is in this moment that you live. If you can't be present, it's like a cat crossing a hot roof, feeling only the heat. Many people are like that, dominated by technology, by the clock, by the cell phone ringing. They don't live in the moment. And after getting sick, tired, having trouble sleeping, and being unable to focus on something as simple as reading a book, let's go back to our discussion of the hourglass. The sand that hasn't fallen yet is the future. The one that's falling is the present. And the one that's already fallen is the past. Have you ever heard that the past shapes the present and the future? That's true. However, Einstein proved the non-linearity of time, meaning that time does not follow a straight line. I will show you now that the future also influences the present, and the present can even recreate the past. Imagine that you book a trip around the world for a month from now. And let's say today is Sunday. I guarantee that Monday is already getting more interesting. You have 30 days until your trip, but you already feel happy in the present just knowing that you are going to travel. See how the future shapes the present. Have you ever heard the saying that often the anticipation of the party is better than the party itself? Remember that Christmas dinner you prepared so carefully, but it was ruined by an argument between your brothers-in-law. The anticipation of dinner was better than the dinner itself. Sometimes anticipation is more exciting than the event itself. So if you have goals for the future, young people, please listen to me. Your present becomes more interesting. If you have no prospects for the future, then you are on the road to ruin. Like many addicts I have met during my life, they lost sight of tomorrow, thinking only of today. Those who live only in the present do not progress. These addicts use drugs and only care about satisfying their cravings today, without even thinking that these drugs will cause damage to their health tomorrow. I hope you understand that the future shapes the present. I will prove to you now that the present can also recreate the past. Once upon a time, an elderly lady about 70 years old came to me. She was going through a divorce and heard that through my knowledge, I could empower her emotionally. She shared her story with me. Married for over 25 years, she and her husband decided not to have children. They had a routine where they spent the week traveling for work and would meet on weekends at a farm they owned near São Paulo. However, a tragic event occurred when the lady's aunt, who raised her and came to visit her in Brazil, suddenly passed away on the farm. Since then, she could no longer visit the farm, while her husband insisted on maintaining the tradition of visiting the farm every week. This was causing a distance between them and consequently leading to divorce. I asked the lady why she didn't want to visit the farm anymore. She explained that it was because of the death of her aunt. I suggested a new perspective. Maybe the aunt chose to die on the farm as a gift to her, to show her affection. I started to dialogue with the lady, conveying this different interpretation of the situation. She was attentive, although anxious to leave. In the end, she returned to the farm and has been married to her husband ever since. I didn't change the fact that the aunt died on the farm, but I changed the way the lady interpreted that event. We cannot change anyone's past, but it is important to understand that everything that happened in our lives served a purpose, perhaps spiritual, that brought us to this moment. Our future is an open possibility, and it is up to us to decide what it will be. We are the only animals on the planet with the ability to think about the future. I suggest we focus on the future, as that is where we will spend the rest of our lives. If we cling to resentments from the past, we limit our future. Maybe someone hurt you in the past and you still haven't forgiven that person. And forgiving is not only an act of love, but also of intelligence. Those who do not forgive are harming themselves. Not forgiving is like holding a burning coal in your hand and expecting the other person to burn. By forgiving our parents or whoever, we are releasing a weight from our shoulders and opening space for a brighter future. I want to finish by telling a story. Once upon a time, a writer who lived by the sea found a young man who was throwing starfish back into the ocean. The writer questioned the effectiveness of this as there were many starfish on the beach. He said, With so many starfish here, and you can only throw 1 or 2 back into the sea, do you think that will make a difference? The young man picked up another starfish, threw it into the sea and replied, "It made a difference to this one here." He took another and said again, "It made a difference to this one here." I want to tell you, this video may not be able to help everyone, but if it can make a difference in one person's life, it's worth it to me. If it made a difference to you, comment like this: "It made a difference to me." I don't know how you're going to use everything you heard here today, but remember, everything is worth it when the soul is not small. I hope new paths open up for you and that God is always by your side, lighting your way. Now, there is a video full of wisdom appearing on your screen. Click on it and go watch it now.